What's up? This is the first video I filmed via phone of the new year, and it is addressing D-Style. I just heard D-Style's video he addressed to me about the UFC and Dana White, and you are misinformed on quite many things. First, I am the UFC. I was there since UFC 1. Okay, back when this was Pancrase. Pride fighting. Me, that's who. I was the one who was there, Denver, Colorado, when it was real fighting, tournament style. So I know a lot. Don't forget, we had MMA socialists. Right with boxing socialists, we had MMA socialists. We had MMA Rick on there. We had some of the greatest fighters. Cain Velasquez interviews. Clay Guida, who stayed like 10 minutes from me. We've had Damian Meyer, Flow MMA. We stayed at that gym in Crystal Lake, Illinois. We had some of the best MMA fighters and trainers there. MMA Rick even took up classes. One of the first things they teach you to defend against is what I said. To defend against is rear naked chokes. Of course, they're going to get you to try to defend the takedowns, of course. But the rear naked choke is really one of the most embarrassing ways to lose a fight in the MMA. It is. I'm sorry. Ask an MMA fighter, what is the most embarrassing way to lose a fight? If you lose to a rear naked choke, that's embarrassing. Because that's one of the first things they teach you to defend against. So if you lose by a rear naked choke, you either won out of the fight or you're just completely fatigued. There's nothing you can do about it. Or you make a mental mistake and you get caught in a rear naked choke and there's no way out. I don't know what that is. I never gotten anything from Paulie Malignaggi's interview. I don't even know what he was talking about, because I've never seen Paulie's interview. Me and Paulie interviewed about Conor McGregor. I don't care about their pay-per-view numbers or what McGregor do on pay-per-view, because that's not why I critique him. Not once do I mention his pay-per-view numbers as the reason my problem is with Conor McGregor. He's not that good. I told them how to fix this problem, D-Style. I said what the problem is. I said the UFC is in trouble. Trouble. And you saying, well, how? They're doing all this stuff. Because, see, you don't understand. This is a business. Why do you think they sold the company? Why do you think if they're doing so great and they're so winning and their numbers are so outstanding, as you keep saying, because they are a private company, they do not have to relinquish any pay-per-view numbers they put out have not really been challenged by anyone. Because we know these are not the real numbers. They have no way of backing up these are the numbers. These are the numbers they're feeding you and saying, well, these are the numbers that we got. We know there's their ballpark are not the real numbers. Now, they do big numbers when Ronda Rousey fight and Conor McGregor fights. Right? Those are the fights they do their biggest numbers. When Brock Lesnar was there, they were doing big numbers with Brock. That's why they had Brock Lesnar in there, because of his name recognition. And they wanted to do the same thing with CM Punk. They kept Brock winning these ridiculous fights. He didn't fight anyone. He fought Shane Carwin, and they should have stopped that fight early on when he was beat down, and he came back, and they was like, he came back and stopped Carwin. Carwin with the biggest hands in the world. It's really stupid. But I don't like Conor McGregor. Let me start with there first. I don't like Conor McGregor because he's a flash in the pants. He's not that good of a fighter. And they make him out to be better than what he is. And I know what he isn't. and you're trying to say, oh, well, the weight classes are so different. It's not like boxing. But he just fought Nate Diaz. So he can't fight Tyrone Woodley? Is that what you're going to try to tell me? So he can't fight any of those guys, right? So you mean to tell me he can't fight Khabib where he won the title at? He haven't fought him. He went all the way to Alvarez to get the belt. This guy's not defended a title ever in the UFC. Period. Never defended a title. Not once. Even before he came to the UFC, he's never defended a title in his career. So I don't hold him as a champion. That's a coward move. I'm going to win the belt and leave. I'm going to take my Lucky Charms and go home. I mean, who? That's not a champion. You know, you got real fighters there like Tony Ferguson. You know, you got Damian Maia out there who's really the staple of what an MMA fighter really truly is. He's not being promoted. You're not promoting your talent. That is why I got on Dana White, for not promoting the talent of the division. He's promoting names. You think it was all right for them to put Ronda Rousey on the cover with her gloves and another picture of her on street clothes and like she's back? You didn't even put Amanda Nunes on there. I'm not saying that you got to build the promotion around Amanda Nunes. See, Dana White would try to turn it to make people think that's what we're saying, to make it sound stupid. No, Dana, that's not what we're saying. We're saying you should at least done that. Because now, you act like, well, now everyone knows who Amanda Nunes is. No, they don't. Because after the fact, you got idiots running around still saying, oh, Ronda Rousey lost to that girl. That girl really beat Ronda Rousey down. But who's the girl? Everybody's talking about, oh, Ronda looked really bad. Ronda should retire. What is Ronda going to do? Ronda this, Ronda that. They still not talking about Amanda Nunes. Why? Because you didn't promote it. Even after she won, you didn't come out and congratulate Amanda Nunes. You didn't champion her. You never championed her. Nobody did. And that's the problem. And see, D-Style, you missed this point. And you're making excuses for the UFC. See, businesses, now let me tell you why I said they were in trouble. Because you don't seem to get it. Businesses don't look at right now. They look 2 years down the road. They don't look right now. They're looking 2 years down the line. See, you're talking about the past or this past year. The UFC's done great this year. They're hot right now. McGregor threatening retirement. He's no immediate future for him whatsoever. Ronda Rousey, done. She may come back again. If they're smart, they try to throw in another fight. Done. Miesha Tate, done. Your women's division right now is probably at the best talent it's had in a while, because it's only basically a 3-year business for the UFC that just started this. But what you don't understand is that they saved the UFC. Ronda Rousey saved the UFC when she came in. When they opened up this women boxing, it saved them. They were losing money on pay-per-views. And you're talking about like, oh, no, they weren't. They weren't doing very well with pay-per-views until Ronda Rousey came along. They weren't averaging 500,000 buys like you would assume they are. They have a lot of hundreds in there. A lot of 300s. In that 2011, Dana White blowing over 10, 15 million trying to promote Bisbee over in London and do these London cards. You don't know anything about that. They were almost going to fire him and get rid of his shares and everything. They've been wanting to sell this company for years, the brothers. And Dana admitted that he made a mistake trying to promote over in London and spend all that money. Now, the fact down the line is, when you take away the two people that was giving you 1 million buys, who are you replacing them with? You think John Jones and Cormier is going to come out and do million pay-per-view buys? Come on. It's not going to happen. The thing is, they need name recognitions. You don't go and get names like CM Punk and try to get Brock Lesnar back if everything's rolling. They're trying to get something else to get them some pay-per-view buys, some interest in. and get the stupid people in while they try to promote the talent to see who's going to be the next big name they got. Now, they have the opportunity to do something, but they're in trouble now because these guys are gone right now. See, the UFC was in trouble before. When Chuck Liddell lost, and they lost Chuck, they lost Rampage, they lost all their names just like that. It took them years to recover. 2011 was not a great year for them. They had many GSP fights and PN fights that you seen that was just like pathetic. And it's like, man, this is just not good fights. And they were just bad. But some of them did good. GSP was doing good. Then you lost him. And it just did not carry over well. And you need people that's going to transcend the sport. So if you look in 2 years down the road, you're like, we're going to be paying more money to these guys to keep them. And we're going to be doing less in pay-per-view because we're getting ready to lose Ronda Rousey because she's not going to stick around. And she's going to go right into acting and movies and all of this stuff. The brothers knew what time it was. Conor McGregor and all this stuff, they knew what time it was. That's like, look, we milked this cow to this point. Let's get out while we can. They want to buy it? Good. Because we're getting out. We don't need this money. Casino money that's gold every year. I don't need the UFC. So Dana and them cashed out. And this was an acquisition by William Morris Agency. Ronda Rousey is sponsored by William Morris Agency. They're going to promote this the way they want to promote it. So you talking about I don't give Dana White credit for promotions. He has all the money and the power to do so. And I don't give him credit for building the UFC. The only thing I give Dana White credit for is doing what the obvious was. He saw something that wasn't right or saw something that he saw he could make better. And he did so. He got somebody to give him the money to do it. It's like if you watch a film that's bad, you know what's wrong with it. You watching a film that's bad, like, man, this is bad. I don't know why they did this, and this. He watched the UFC, said, oh, this is boxing. Let me take what I like for boxing and put it in the UFC. I'm going to get rounds. I'm going to get a referee. A ring. I'm going to get a guy, ref outside the ring. There's a cut man. We're going to have a corner. Yeah, it's going to be just like boxing. But it's not. And we're going to change the rules. We can't say there's no biting. There's no hitting in below the belt. You know, and all of this stuff. We're going to just take out a couple of things and make some changes. So he saw it. He made the changes. And that was good for them in this aspect. Because now instead of fighting in a tournament where if you was watching the tournaments, and I was saying that, you never got to see the best fighters when the two guys try to meet up with each other. They tried to do it. But people kept getting hurt in tournaments. They'll break their hands. We had so many fighters in the UFC early on that kept breaking their hands. And you never got to see Tank Abbott fight Ken Shamrock. So they start making super fights. And to just say, look, we're just going to make a super fight and put them in the ring and that's it. Because that's what the people want to see anyway. So you can still have your tournament, but then we'll have a super fight in between that. Then they just start making those fights the case. So when Dana started watching it, they were already getting out of tournament style before he came along. But we were there for all of it. We've been there for the whole ride. So I know exactly what I'm talking about when I say what's wrong with it. And they said I want Dana White to fail in the UFC. Dana White has become arrogant since the UFC's taken off. He wants the credit for Holly Holm. Like, yeah, I picked Holly Holm because I knew what I was talking about. No, you didn't. You picked Holly Holm because you was afraid of Amanda Nunes. You was afraid of Cyborg. And they said, well, okay, well, since Cyborg, you said, is not ready and not in the division and she's not in the weight class, what about Amanda Nunes? We got Holly Holm. Yeah, Holly can box. So don't. And you ran there and you saw what Ronda did with a boxer and she just got basically beat. And in this fight, she was so mentally out of it, she looked terrible. So to throw her back in the ring again, you would have to throw the softest touch in the world. But she's done. I mean, you can milk that cow as much as you want and try to build back up her confidence, but she's done. There's no need of her even coming back. Why face the embarrassment? And plus, the people getting on Ronda Rousey is because she don't even want to do the interview. She don't even want to face the music. If you don't want to face the music, nobody's going to want to know you, talk to you, see you, or nothing. So now it's like, if you're retiring, you might as well retire. Don't come back. You want people to pay to see you come back, and you don't want to give them the opportunity to speak, or even the media? I don't respect that, D. So this is my response video to you. And hopefully you get it. This has nothing to do with Mayweather. Has nothing to do with Conor McGregor. Has something to do with what we see in the future. The UFC is in trouble. Why do you think they fired people like Chuck Liddell, Matt Hughes, and about 100 other people in the acquisition? If they're making so much money, why would you get rid of these people that's helping you make money? They came in and they trimmed the fat. They said, why are we paying this guy? Why are we paying this guy? Why are we paying this guy? Why are we paying that guy? But they're doing all these pay-per-view buys. Something's not adding up. Making all that money, but you're doing cutbacks. Okay. Don't forget, Diaz and McGregor too wasn't a sellout. Wasn't a sellout at all. They was giving away tickets to people at the hotel. But they did almost $2 million in pay-per-view buys. It's a lie. Conor McGregor versus what's his name? Did we even get the pay-per-view numbers to that? Against Alvarez? They sold out in New York City. It was New York City. Y'all first time ever being allowed because William Moore's agency bought them out. And what happened? Of course, he sold out there. They sold out the tickets there. But what that pay-per-view do? Million pay-per-view buys? I don't think so. But believe what you want. See, I deal in reality, not the probabilities. The reality is they are in trouble right now. Because who Amanda Nunes is going to fight? How many pay-per-view buys you think that's going to do now? Because she's your champion. She just defended the title. She just retired two of the biggest women in the sport, in her division. Which is like what? The only division they have. So you know what I'm saying? So what you going to do? Put it on Fox Sports 1? And I don't agree because I don't think Fox Sports 1 has covered her loss yet. And I'm not happy about that either. So, thanks for the video, D. I enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed this one.